All right, it's now time to learn how to turn in our project. There's instructions online on how to do this, but let's say that you're happy with your project. Obviously, this one's not completed here, but you're quite happy with it. I've got this file in this folder, programming project folder, and I call it this name. I'm going to recommend that you change the name. Leave the .html at the end, but change the name to something that's a little simpler. So you can right click on that and rename it if you're in Windows, or you can click and then wait and click another key again. But rename this file to something that is, something that you can easily spell, preferably with not too many spaces, or 0 spaces is even better. So maybe I'm just going to call mine, just for ease, I'm just going to call mine PP for programming project, or maybe I'll just want to call it Wells PP. That sounds silly. Or maybe we just want to call it MIS 101, or whatever you want to call it. Why don't we call it just MIS 101.html? So we've renamed that file. Now, one thing you'll notice, though, is this, because we don't have this open in the editor, this is not going to work anymore. So we'll have to change the name here, or reopen it up in our editor and then run it in our browser. Why don't I do that really quickly? So I'm going to open it up in Notepad++, run it in Firefox, and there it is. There's our file. Okay, looks like it's doing a little bit of work for us. Great. So I've got this file, and I want to turn it in. We're going to turn it in by uploading this to a server. Now, SackState has free space available for us, and so that's what we're going to use for this example. If you've got other space that you want to use, that's just fine as well. So if you follow the instructions, one of the instructions for the project states that we need to navigate to a URL. And so I'm going to copy and paste the URL. And here's the URL, webpages-controlpanel.csus.edu, and that will bring us to this page. So I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to log in and show you what it looks like. All right, so I've logged into this page, and here's what it looks like. Now, yours might say disabled when you first do this. You'll want to click to enable the page. So click here on the right-hand side to enable it. Once it's been enabled, it looks like this, and you can choose to delete it or to disable it if you want, but we want ours enabled. Now, I've used a bit of my space already, or shouldn't say 8%. And it gives you some instructions right here on how to upload content. So I'm going to click on that. It'll bring us to these instructions on, hey, okay, here's how to enable it. We've already done that part. Great. Here's how to upload files and content. We want to use a tool called FileZilla. And there's other tools we could use. We're just going to use a tool that can connect to an FTP server. FileZilla is an open source one. It's available for Windows. It's available for Mac. It does have some funny ads in there sometimes, so you've got to be careful with it. But it's the one that's recommended by SackState. If you click on this project, I'm going to open it in a new tab. It will fire up here, and you have a decision on whether you're downloading the client or the server. You don't need the server. You just need the client. So you can download that and install it to the computer. And if you do that, it looks something like this. Okay, so the screen is a little bit hard to navigate, and it's hard to figure out. I don't know if I can zoom very easily in here, so I'm sorry if the text is very small. But what you'll notice here is there's a window pane here that will give you kind of the files on your computer. So if I go to the desktop and then I go to the programming project, here's the file that I've got right here, my MIS101.html. And then on the right-hand side, at least by the default, here's the files up on a server. And right now it says that I'm not connected to any server. So if we go back to our instructions, after we download FileZilla, what we want to do is we want to fill in this host, username, and password boxes, and then hit the quick connect. And so here's the information that you put in the host. It's ftps://webpages.csus.edu/. And then you're going to put in for username your SackState username and your SackState password, and hit quick connect. So I've already typed mine in. If I hit quick connect, it'll do some things, and the very first time you log in, it might actually pop up a window and ask if you're okay with remembering the server's identity, the certificate of a server. If it does that, that's fine. That's SackState server helping to identify you, so you don't have to do that again. So now that we've done this, you'll notice that your you might have nothing in this folder. That's okay. You might just have a little box here with a dot next to it, and that's fine. I've used this for a few years, and I've got a bunch of stuff on here that I use for this class, for other classes as well. You'll notice here's the Yahoo Finance, yahoo.fin.js. That's the file that your file is actually using to contact Yahoo and get the information. So all you're going to do for this project, or for this part of the project, is upload the file that you want. So we're going to go over here to mis101.html. I'm going to either right click on it and hit upload, or you can go and select up here and hit upload, or you can, click and drag it over there. Any of those methods will allow us to upload the file. And there'll be a little notification. The status will change a little bit, and then we can go and see that, okay, there we go. Up on the server, mis101.html is available. Okay, so it's been put up there. Now, this is probably the most difficult part of understanding this process, is where do I find the URL for this? You'll notice that right now I'm in the root folder, okay, just the / folder of the server. I've got, for example, for my 140 class, I have a folder called Wireshark. If I was to double click on that, I would now be in the /Wireshark folder, and then there's a bunch of stuff in here. If I wanted to go back out, I could go here, and I actually have a few folders here. Here's the RB folder, stands for root beer. We'll talk about that more when we get to the web design project. All right, so at the end of the day, we are in our root folder, and we'll have to remember which folder we're in. Now, if we go back to our personal web page control panel, okay, there's the link I already put in the project here. So this is enabled, this is great. And you'll notice here's the address of your personal web page. So if we're simply to copy that URL and paste it, then if you hit enter, it should bring up a kind of a placeholder page that's created for you. Now I've actually replaced that with a page that you're gonna, we'll use and see for our web design project. But I want to show you where we would find that page. So if we're back in our FileZilla, okay, we're in our root folder. This URL corresponds to the root folder, the one that we copied and pasted. And so now we just need to put in the name of the file, which happens to be lowercase mis101.html. So if we type in mis101.html, now there's our page. All right, so it's webpages.csus.edu / my username / the name of the file. Notice that. So if I had uploaded that mis101.html file to the cat videos folder, notice it says /CAT VIDEOS and then the name of the file. Then we would have to go in here, and after the root, remember that this is the root section, okay? After that, we'd have to put in video /, and then that would be the file that would be available to us there. So just be careful on that. That's how you're going to upload your file and get the URL for your video. And this is the URL. I won't use the cat video one, I'll use this one. This is the URL that you're going to submit for your project. So you're going to copy that. Notice it starts with webpages.csus.edu with your username. It does not start with file. Remember the files that we were working on earlier start with file because those are your text editor is opening the file on your computer. If you submit something that says starts with file, I won't be able to open it and I won't be able to view it. So it needs to start with webpages.csus.edu and then have the name of the file. Now, if you're already using your personal web space for another project, like I have a bunch of other projects, that's just fine. Put it in you can create a new folder if you'd like. So we can go over here and create a directory and then make a new directory. We can change the name of the file to something different and upload it. Just make sure that the URL that it corresponds to, remember you'll take whatever's in the root, and if there's any folders after that, you'll type the name of the folder and / and then the name of the file and submit that. And so then we'll go to SACCT and then just copy and paste this value in as our submission. And that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to that URL and navigate to it and when I grade your project.